creativity. We get free, be me, work it effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically in the garden of good. Give, live, and love. In a God gonna dig big and trust. In a God gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. To the garden. Love, 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 which is the center of the Garden of Good. Welcome to the Garden of Good, where we tend to the sacred soil of your creative spirit, where we consciously grow good inside and therefore in the world. Yes? So hello, everyone. Hello. This is the 30th week of meeting here. This is an entire year-long program, which is wild because we have been through some stuff together, haven't we? We really have. Every January, February, March, every 3 months, there's another quarter, and we're in the middle of the body quarter, which is the summer months. And this is all based on my book, of course, Make Good, which you guys know. And we pick each quarter a root, an inner goal, and a fruit, an outer goal. You all know all of this, but I'm just reminding us what we're doing here. And I find that goals are really interesting, and I'm going to tell you about mine in a bit and what's happened for me. Oh, you like these glasses? I feel like these are from like Zinnia or, one of those online places. All right. So remembering kindness first. Kindness is so important when we're in a creative space. I think we're not judging each other. We're celebrating each other. Just open yourself and you get to choose what you want to do and what you don't want to do, how much you want to use your camera, and everybody together. Let's say confidentiality. I want to remind you today also that whatever bloom you bring belongs. So whatever you have to share today is important and you matter. And so before we go into a stretch, I am going to pray us in. Okay, so let's have a prayer. Spiritual mind treatment. So just take a deep breath with me here. Just becoming present to the presence, becoming still. Feeling that life force, that energy that is back of life, that loving energy, holding us, expressing as us tonight, knowing that this evening is filled with awareness, joy, expression, authenticity, upliftment, creation, goodness. I claim and name that each and every one of us in here knows that we are abundance itself. We are not just abundant. We are abundance itself. And it is expressing as our lives, as the love that we share, as the community that we've created here in these 30 weeks. Wow. So proud, so grateful, so humbled. Thank you, God, for this time together, for each and every person in this garden of good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I invite you to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Now, as we stretch, I'm going to play my song, So Rich. I invite you to stand up with me and to try to do what I'm doing. So we're going to do a little bit of a neck stretch as well. We're going to drop our ear to our shoulder and gently hold and then let it float up, and we'll do each side. Take a deep breath and let it float up. Bring your shoulders to your ears and then drop them. To your ears and then drop them. To your ears and then drop them. I am going to give you a very quick update on my roots and fruits, and then I'm going to open it up to everyone to share. I would like everyone to share where they're at with their roots and fruits. It's just so fascinating how spirit is. And I just heard a quote. I think it was an Einstein quote that said something like, "Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous." And I find it really strange that during the body quarter, when I pick the word fun as my root, my dearest and most precious pet of 14 years, who is my familiar, passes away suddenly. So I have been in such deep, deep grief for about 4 days and questioning, like, okay, so what happens in the garden when your root that you've picked is just not right for the soil that you're in, right? Like, I'm not about to try to have fun with this grief, although tonight with you, we do have some exercises that I have planned because the topic tonight was money. And I was like, how am I going to marry money and grief and the garden of good? You know, where is all this leading me? And I just look for the clues. I take breadcrumb by breadcrumb, and it's beautiful how it all kind of came together. But I just want to show you a picture of Tiki. This is Tiki, my beloved, who crawled. I heard from a friend of mine who's slightly psychic today that basically she crawled under the couch and she went to sleep and she didn't wake up. And that's how I prefer to think about it. And it was very interesting because I've had another pet go like that, but I've also had to make the hard decision with a pet before. So I feel like this is definitely the easier, softer of the, she basically took away the choice for me and she exited in the way that only Tiki could. Really, truly, the love of my life. I've never loved anything or anyone. I love you, AJ. I know you're listening, but as long and as much as this dog. So, one more thing that I'll share. And so I'm starting to think about the roots fruits thing, thinking, okay, and also my fruit was going to be like to sow. And I've just been so sad that I haven't done any sowing. I haven't had any fun really, not really. And I thought, okay, well, I think that the root that I'm going to turn to in this time, because I think if you think about it literally, like a root sometimes won't take to a certain soil or a certain ground. And I think, well, maybe it's just okay to uproot and change your root. And we're still sort of at the beginning of body. I'm seeing you shake your head yes, and I appreciate that from everyone so much. So the root that I'm kind of leaning into right now is acceptance. I think that's a beautiful creative space to be in, because when you accept you're able to make choices and changes that shift your consciousness. We know that, right? Acceptance is the key, they say in the 12-step programs and stuff like that. I'm in grief, right? So I'm like signing this contract, thinking to myself, am I going to be able to find the energy to promote this and fill this now bigger room in New York City? This is now a bigger venue, a more high pressure experience. But I did it anyway. And that's the other thing about faith. Faith is like that thing about courage that you hear, feel the fear and do it anyway, right? I really want to run out and get another dog. Like, I really want to run out and get another dog. And my partner is just like, no, like grieve. And I'm just like, I've grieved. It's been 4 days. I'm ready for a puppy. I don't like my house to be without a dog. My house is a dog house. And anyway, so, but I think sometimes my bringing that up, Wendy, was to relate this idea of like, sometimes I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do because my instinct is telling me one thing and then the world is telling me no. And I'm like, well, what the hell? So getting clarity, you know, tonight in the work that we do tonight, I hope that you guys will get some clarity. And for our first creative expression, we're going to color something, and we're going to color. So you can get out your journal and some, maybe like 3 or 4 of your favorite color markers. And this is going to be one of those doodles that's pretty general. And that way you can be like doing it as you listen to my talk, so that you can listen to this talk and receive it. And as I was crafting tonight and thinking about the connection between grief and money, what came to my mind immediately was when my father passed suddenly. One of my first thoughts, it wasn't my first thought. Obviously, my first thought was just devastation and just no thought, like just sadness and grief and overwhelm. But one of my first thoughts was about money, was like, this man stressed about money my whole life. He was always worried about money. And then I'm like, oh my God, like what the fuck does money matter now? Right? Like, other than getting his plot and getting, you know, like, it doesn't matter. Like, he worked so hard, and it's like, it just, you can't take it with you. Right. And since Tiki's passed, one of the things I thought about with money was like, you can't buy life. You can't buy somebody back when they're gone. No amount of money, you know, I guess now they can clone animals or something. Somebody said that to me, and I was just like, that's obscene, absurd. So the value of life and of love, which is what grief is, that grief is the cost of love. You cannot have love, deep love, without grief. So I thought about making an hourglass. So this is the doodle that I want you guys to make, and it's an hourglass. And yeah, Crystalline, you could take and basically I thought, you know, time is the most precious thing we have. And I know you hear that all the time. Time. And so what I wanted you to do is maybe start with, when I did this, I'll just talk you through it. I started with the green, and that is the heart chakra, right? Because that's the body, the center of the body is that heart space, that heart intelligence, right? That knowingness in our body when we're grieving, when we're feeling sadness, when we're feeling any feelings, it's from the heart, right? And I've been an open channel of feelings this past few days. I've just I like just fall on my knees and start weeping. And my sweet girlfriend, I mean, she's just like, honey, it's okay. You know, it's okay. And I'm just letting it come. And so starting with the heart in your hourglass, which is like the hourglass shape of our lives. And then I sort of like added the colors of red and yellow with different ideas of the light of love and the, you know, the energy of life. And you can sort of make it your own with different colors. And then I just put little dots and hearts in this bottom, as meaning like, this is the stuff that, you know, we can't until we flip over, maybe reincarnate, I don't know, come back on the other side. That's passed through, right? And these are all the memories, all the thoughts, all the love. And you can just sort of like dot with each of the colors. That's what I did. I dotted, just dotted, thinking about the value of the love in my heart, the value of my time. What do I want to give my time to? And I just put, and then I made little hearts in every color. And so as I'm giving my talk, I just want you to think about what I'm speaking about. And I want you to allow yourself to feel whatever comes up as I'm speaking. My talk tonight, this little talk, is called The Currency of Love, Money and Grief. The currency of love, money and grief. So I want to thank you for coming tonight. About 5 or 6 people told me they couldn't be here tonight for this or that, an appointment at the tire shop, this or that, 5 or 6 people. And I thought, well, is this spirit telling me that I shouldn't have the garden tonight? And I even said that too, because Lisa K isn't here. Lisa K hasn't even missed a week. Lisa K has a terrible case of poison ivy, everyone, and she's exhausted. And so send Lisa K some love. And so I was like, maybe this is spirit telling me not to have the garden. And then I was like, no, damn it, I need the garden tonight. I need this, and I need to be with my people. And the currency of love. So I just want to thank you up top for being here, is what I meant to say there. So let's just start with something sort of tender and true. Which is that money and grief are both full of stories. Like, we have stories around them. And I had to share this. Look at this little graphic I made of Tiki, my sweet beloved. We always called her a little piggy because she had a big belly, and she was my little piggy. She had a little piggy tail too. And she was sassy. She was sacred. She went with me through breakups, breakdowns, breakthroughs. She lived with me in 5 cities, 3 lives. Somra's coming in. Welcome, Somra. So glad you're here, my love. I'm talking about my beloved Tiki that I lost. And so she was what I call my familiar. I know you've heard this term if you're a big reader of, sci-fi or any of that kind of stuff. My familiar is like my furry best friend that sort of is my spirit, an extension of my spirit. Also my therapist. I mean, there were times when I held her so tight and just cried into her neck when I was grieving my father, or many other times. And when she crossed the Rainbow Bridge, I just had that deep, raw grief. And I, of course, noticed again, just like I did with my dad, that money stopped mattering, right? And it stopped, and it started mattering more too, because no amount of money could bring her back. But I also had those thoughts like, should I have taken her to the vet sooner? Like, could I have done more? And it was interesting because it turned into like a mirror, of all the guilts, the what ifs. And the interesting thing about grief is that it can turn money into this magnifying glass. It shows us what we truly value. And I know for sure Tiki didn't give a shit about money. Okay. She did not care about money. She cared about presents. She cared about snuggles. She cared about whether I dropped food on the floor. She gave everything, every kiss, nuzzle, bark, everything she gave freely. She did not hoard her love. She didn't check her bank balance before showing up. She was in her beingness. She taught me so much. And in the Garden of Good, we talk all the time about abundance. We talk about planting and pruning, and we talk about trusting. But in the moment of grief, I'm reminded that loss is a part of the garden. Compost, transformation, right? Grief is like sacred rot. It breaks down the old, and eventually it grows things. In our really tender, horrid grief and shock, we decided to bury her ourselves in the backyard. And she is buried right in front of a tree. And I'm reminded of this story of the money tree. And it was a vision I had when I was a little kid. And I used to dream about this tree. I used to dream about this tree that just had dollar bills hanging from it. When I was a little girl, I had this very vivid, almost lucid dream of a money tree. I woke up believing it, that we had one in the backyard. And I think about Tiki being right there in front of that tree, that she is that root of love that I just have so deep with her, that she's planted right there, and that love will grow in a spiritual way, like through that tree. I don't know. I just, something about that tied together. And Charles Fillmore talked about, within the law of increase, that you have to be willing to give up the old to make room for the new. Like whether it's an old outdated belief about money that no longer fits, or maybe it's a dog that's done. That's just, their soul is complete. The outdated, when I've really, even just 4 days into this grief, I've noticed, she was really, really tired all the time. She was sleeping most of the time. She was coughing a lot. She was obviously ill. It was her time. AJ, that's one of the first things that she said to me was, it was her time. So she gave me this gift of unconditional love, of wild presence, of messy joy. And now that she's gone, I feel a deeper reverence for what I want to spend my life on, because money isn't, I love this idea that it's not just like what's in your wallet or what's in your bank account. It's what you pay attention to. We spend time, we pay respect, we invest energy. And when I look back at my time with Tiki, I feel filthy fucking rich, okay? Rolling in the grass, licking my face, puppy breath kind of rich, right? And that's what I say tonight. Grief and money aren't opposites. They're both portals into like what matters. And that's why I'm going to ask you tonight, is money just a symbol for love? Is how we treat money, how we treat our joy, how we treat our aliveness. Tiki didn't need a trust fund. She needed rubs and peanut butter. She needed me to show up. She would just have the biggest fits when I would come home from being out of town for more than 1 minute. So I want to ask you these questions, like, what do you want to fund in your life? What's worth your currency? What's worth your energy? What's worth your time? In what parts of your life are you rich? In what parts of your life are you not? If you're grieving like I am, if you're missing or aching, I just want us to all know that it's part of our harvest, because love never dies. It just transforms. It becomes flowers. It becomes laughter. It becomes courage. It becomes right here, right now. So let's give us a moment and put your hand on your heart and just feel the value inside of yourself. And I want you to just say aloud, I am rich in love. I am wealthy in connection. I spend my life wisely. And I just want to thank you for being here with me, witnessing my grief, and for reminding me that we're just investing in each other. Again, this idea of cost and gift, this idea of like that grief is the cost of love. It sounds kind of dark, but I know, like, I would not give up that love with that animal for anything. Like, I might be sad. I don't even know how long I'm going to be sad about this. But it's a cost of love. Grief is a cost, and it's proof. So I kind of thought maybe you could ask a few questions. Maybe let's just pick one of these, okay? So think of maybe something that you are grieving, I guess, or have grieved. Gosh, I don't want it to be too dark, but, and maybe write the cost. Like, in other words, like, it cost me tears, it cost me time, it cost me, but what it gave me. So it cost me blank and it gave me blank. So it cost me to love Tiki. It cost me some tears and some time, and it gave me, oh my God, unconditional love, laughter. You see what I'm saying? Like, so the cost, like the exchange there, what was that for you? And then even now, like what lingers for you? Even now, I can pull from so many memories. So just take a moment to just think about something that you grieve that and what it's cost you, but what it gave you, what it cost and what it gave. And just take a moment. I'll just be quiet for a moment here. Maybe what are the gifts of this person, place, or thing that you grieve? The gifts. So rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich, so rich we are. So So I'm going to give you the next little simple idea, which was to, on a piece of paper, I want you to write the word money like this down the side of the page. And what I want you to use each letter for is something that you value more than money. So in other words, I'll show you my completed one from earlier. You don't have to do anything like what I'm doing, but I'll just give you the ideas if you're stuck at all. Like for me, this is what I did. I said, Mom, and you guys, if you know me at all, you know, my mom and I, it's complex, you know, but I value that relationship so much. For O, I put open-heartedness, like never closing down no matter how broken I am. I value that. I value that about myself. N, I put now, this moment. For E, I put energy. For Y, I put yes. These are just things that I value. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to come up with an acronym for some things that you value. And you can have fun doodling on it as you write, as you play with this idea. But I will still show you so you can say, "Oh," and when it's time, look at it.
Oh, that is adorable.
It's only 8 weeks old. It's a Chihuahua. It looks just like Tiki did when Tiki was a puppy. And I know it's part of me that wants to just put a Band-Aid on my pain. So I'm going to sit with it for another day or two and see. All right. And I put for my affirmation card, don't forget we do an affirmation card every week. I put I value time, joy, and love. These are the things that I value. And I do think that. So now James couldn't be here tonight, but he did make a video with his EFT.
Hey, gardeners. Okay, so today I sort of overbooked my life and I am pre-recording a tapping session because I overbooked my life. And I wasn't really thinking, I just had, my car, that one of the tires needed a patch and it's not that even that big of a deal. Everything. And so today we were focusing on the power of power. So our own personal power. And within the energy system known as the 12 powers, which is kind of a unity thing. This energy center is in the throat because our power is expression. I know that we're doing money today, and there is some correlation. I mean, a lot of people think money is power, but in the 12th power system, it's our ability to express authentically. That is our power. So it's located in the throat. It is represented by the color purple. And I was really thinking about what is the opposite? What is the shadow that we're working through when we're talking about this particular power of power? And I am making this kind of an extension of my therapy session today, because in therapy, I talk to my therapist about being seen and not wanting to be seen and not wanting to express and not wanting to be out there. And I was like, you know what? That's kind of it's that authentic expression that I'm just like, you know what? It is safer for me to build up a wall and just stay behind that wall. And so that's what we're going to look at today. And what I will invite you to do is, first of all, I would like you to center your awareness on your throat and just recognize times when you felt maybe powerless, or times that you did not want to express yourself, and see if that shows up in your throat, or does it show up somewhere else in your body. So just tap into the energy of what that feels like when you don't show up authentically, maybe when you haven't in the past, or when you're afraid to show up authentically, or you're afraid to be vulnerable. And there's no judgment here. Just take a look. What does that feel like within you? And so that is the pattern that we'll be tapping on today. So I just invite you to go ahead and tap on the karate chop point and just repeat after me. Even though I'm afraid to speak up and be seen, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Even though I sometimes hide my true voice, I honor the part of me that learned to stay quiet. And I am ready to find my power again. Even though it feels scary for me to share my gifts, I remember the fruit is not for the trees. Okay, top of the head. I've learned to hide my voice. Maybe I don't feel safe to speak up. Maybe someone told me I was too much or not enough. I've learned to stay small to avoid judgment. I've kept quiet to keep the peace. But that silence has come at a cost. I've been hiding, but I'm not sure who I'm protecting anymore. I want to feel safe expressing my truth. Oh, right here. Maybe my voice matters more than I thought. Maybe I was given this gift for a reason. Maybe my truth is needed by someone else right now. What if speaking up could help someone feel less alone? I don't have to shout. I just have to be real. My voice doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. I can speak from my heart and trust it will land where it is needed. The fruit is not for the trees. My gifts are meant to be shared. I choose to reclaim my voice. I allow myself to be seen and heard. I trust that what I have to say has value. I speak from love, not fear. My voice is my power, and I use it wisely. I was not born to hide. I was born to shine. I express my gifts with courage, grace, and authenticity. I am a living, breathing channel of divine truth and power. All right, take a deep breath in and exhale. So power is the ability to speak and act with clarity, confidence, and truth. When we silence ourselves, we withhold the very gifts we came here to give. Your voice is not just for you. It's yours to offer to the world. All right, and so it is. I hope I get to log in. I don't know how long it's going to take us to get back home. So anyway, mwah, see you soon. Bye.
Oh my gosh, we love him so much, don't we? Okay, so your home play this week is very simple. Pay attention to value, what you value, how you value it, and gratitude. I'm going to invite Chrysalin to read our closing poem. And I wanted to tell you just really quickly before I highlight her and she reads this beautiful poem that I found about worth that just felt so aligned with the topic and everything, that this right here, this picture over here in the corner, is Ella Wheeler Wilcox. Okay, she's an American author and poet in the early 1900s. I just love her hat right there. She's fabulous. But what I like about her and what I thought was so cool is that she's the person that coined the phrase, or had a poem that was a poem called Solitude, where laugh and the world laughs with you, weep and you weep alone. That's her. She's the one that came up with that. But anyway, this poem is so beautiful. So I'm going to remove my.
Okay, thank you. Like she said, it's by Ella Wheeler Wilcox, and I don't have the title for it, but I do have it so I can post it in our garden group. All right, let's take a big deep breath in together. Thank you all for being in the garden tonight. It is really such a privilege to read this with you all. I'm so grateful. Okay. It is easy enough to be pleasant when life flows by like a song, but the man worthwhile is one who will smile when everything goes dead wrong. For the test of the heart is trouble, and it always comes with the years. And the smile that is worth the praises of earth is the smile that shines through tears. It is easy enough to be prudent when nothing tempts you to stray, when without or within no voice of sin is luring your soul away. But it's only a negative virtue until it is tried by fire, and the life that is worth the honor of earth is the one that resists desire. By the cynic, the sad, the fallen, who had no strength for the strife, the world's highway is cumbered today. They make up the sum of life. But the virtue that conquers passion and the sorrow that hides in a smile, it is these that are worth the homage of earth, for we find them once in a while. By Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
sì, certo, mi piace già molto. Ok. One life, one love, one presence, one power, one beauty. In this, we live and move and have our beings. In this, we find safety, we find security, we find the true essence of who we are that can never be touched, never be changed. And it gives us the strength to move through all the changes, all the loss, all the movement, all the impermanence of life itself. I'm grateful for the things that come and the things that go. Grateful for each and every person that's been in my life, that will be in my life, and has left my life. And grateful for each one of you. And so it is.
Amy, you're
Yes.
muted, but and that has left my life. I really, really appreciated that part. That was powerful for the grief and for all the aspects. Thank you, Reverend Christy.
And so it is. You are such a marvel and a gift to us here, and I love you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for doing everything tonight. And I love you. And if you want to stick around to just chit chat a little bit after, yeah, let's do it. Thanks for coming to the Garden of Good. Here we go. Play, pray, slay. In the dark, gonna make good today. In the dark, gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. I'm Amy from the GOG, Garden of Good Creativity. We get free, be me, work it effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically in the Garden of Good. Give, live, and love. In a garden, gonna dig big and trust. In the garden,